Michael came and took me to see my 4-year-old self. And I could, I went into my 4-year-old self and could see what she was seeing, and she could see the angels and see Michael and me, and she knew exactly who I was, that I was her future self, and that everything was moving like you're under the ocean. And I knew that there was no such thing as time. But there can't be there can't be time if I could stand there and see my 4-year-old self, and I'm in my early 30s.
Welcome, beloved hearts. What would you do if you encountered an angel in your room? What would that do to your life? My guest today allowed this to change her life as she surrendered to her mission, and she now brings through angelic realm frequencies. Fiona Paul is with us today. We're so excited to hear her story. Hi, Fiona. Welcome. Thank you for being here.
Hi, Lauren. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak with you and be in your energy and in your frequency, because you have a powerful angelic frequency that emanates off you. It's truly divine.
Wow, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to take that into my heart and really behold that. Thank you. Very powerful. We can already feel the angelic frequencies. I know on this planet there's been angels in human form. My mother was one of them. And
Yeah,
so
there we go.
we're waking up to the angelic realm even more. So let's hear your story. 25 years ago, you had an
Yeah.
experience. Tell us what happened.
Well, 25 years ago, um, my father transitioned, died. And I was in a very, very low place. I was working in the corporate world, working in multimedia and video. And every time I walked to the computer, I was getting pains in my stomach, like food poisoning. And I didn't realize then that our bodies are these miraculous vehicles that give us such amazing feedback about what we should be doing and what we shouldn't be doing. And I'm getting all, and I actually said to my husband, I think this job's killing me. I've got to stop doing it. I've got to stop doing it. And then my father transitioned. I was in a real chaotic, deep depression. I didn't realize how depressed I was, how low I was. And one day I was in my bedroom and I was being emotional. I was very confused. And all the energy changed in the room. And it felt really, really familiar. And anyway, this light started to appear, this column of light. And then this being started to appear in more physical form. And then there he was, about 10 foot tall, in a white 3-piece suit, just like John Travolta of Saturday Night Fever. He's there in this white 3-piece suit. And my whole being wasn't even questioning that he was an angel. I knew he was an angel, although I couldn't see any wings. And we started to telepathically communicate. And I didn't know of telepathic communication. It wasn't on my radar at all. I haven't had any religious upbringing. And I telepathically said to him, "Oh, and who are you?" And he said, "My name is Michael." And then I talked to myself saying, well, he's just being kind, isn't he? Because angels are called Gabriel or something. But I've got an uncle called Michael, so he's just trying not to scare me, because I didn't know there was archangels and all of this lot. I certainly didn't know there was one called Michael. Anyway, he went, "Oh, come on, we're going." He's quite forthright. "We're going on a journey. La, la, la." And instantly we're at the house that I was brought up in, which was incredibly scary, absolutely frightened the hibbejeebies out of me. And we started to walk around the corner of the house, and there's an archway that goes down towards the vegetable patch. And I went, "Oh, I don't want to be here, Mike. I don't want to be here. I don't want to know." And he went, "It's all right. It's all right. I'm your guardian." And I went, "What? Where have you been? Where have you been all these years?" Anyway, We're stood in this archway, and I look down the path, and there's my father walking up the garden path. He was 74 when he transitioned. He was early to mid 30s walking up the garden path. And I went, oh, like this. And I didn't know about chakras and things like that. And my throat went really, really tight. Michael nudges me and he said, don't worry, he won't recognize you. Because I was terrified of my father. And he nudged me so firmly that I stumbled forward. And as I stumbled forward, my father went, oh, in a very broad Scottish accent, and came running up the path, asking me if I'm all right. But there's this little blonde girl holding his hand, and she was 4 years old, and it was me. And oh, and I looked directly at me. And then as I'm looking at me, I go into me and I can see little me looking at me and looking at this angel, but also seeing other angels and seeing all the colors, and everything is like moving, a bit like when you're under the ocean. Everything was moving, nothing was solid, nothing was still. And then I came back into my body, and my father's saying, well, in that moment, I absolutely knew there was no such thing as time. There was such a clarity about that. And I knew that that incident or that experience had happened when I was 4 years old. Absolutely knew that I saw my older self and the angelic realm. And I knew that everything moved and there was multidimensionality and that we could speak telepathically. You know, I still had all of this awareness. Anyway, eventually, I won't go into all of the rest of it, but I came back into my bedroom, the energies changed, and I was back in my bedroom. And Michael was nowhere to be seen physically, but he was absolutely everywhere and filled the room. I could feel him energetically. And this was the first times really that I was really starting to feel energy. And he said to me, Fiona, always come from your heart. And then he's gone. And I'm like, oh my word, how am I going to tell my husband? He's got a big mortgage, got big salaries, you know. But I knew in that instant that I had to leave my corporate job and become an animal behaviorist. There was absolutely no question in my whole being I had to become an animal behaviorist. Okay, how am I going to tell my husband? Oh my gosh. Anyway, I was in a right old turmoil about it. And then about 3 weeks later, I'm in my bedroom and I was actually sat on the edge of the bed and I was sobbing because I had to make a decision. And my head was telling me, fear, you've got to keep your mortgage. You're only newly married, really, only about 6 months married. And you're just in a state because your father's gone and he was your guiding light. You did everything that he told you to do. And I was in a really, really deep, deep place of lack of self-worth. And then the energies changed again. And I was like, oh, hello, thinking it's going to be Michael. I was like, oh, right. Yeah. And that real familiarity. And anyway, this monk started to walk around the side of my bed. He's in a brown habit, he had his hood up, and he's walking around. I question it because everything just feels so nice. And he walks around, and I was a bit snivelly and whatever. And he knelt down in front of me and started to stroke the air in front of me. I now know he was stroking my energy field, and it calmed me. And I was like, oh, yeah, beautiful, lovely. Thank you. That was really nice. Thank you. That was really, really lovely. And he stood up, took his hood back, and I'm looking up at him. I'm going, thank you very much. It was really nice. And I knew that he knew I didn't know who he was. So anyway, he stepped to the side to my left. And as he did, the bedroom wall opened up into this most beautiful vista. And I knew it was the country of Greece. I could smell the heat. I could smell the warmth. And there was little olive trees and there was leaves on the ground and little black olives on the ground. And I looked over to the right because I could feel this presence. And there was this row of men looking at me. And in that instant, I got the whole knowing that they were the disciples. And I'm like, oh my God. I went to fall on my knees, even though I haven't had any religious upbringing at all. I went to fall on my knees to worship Jesus. And he grabbed my forearms very physically, stopped me from falling on my knees, picked me up, looked me directly in the eyes, and said, Fiona, you are exactly the same as me. And I'm like, does he know who he's talking to? He's got the wrong person. Can't possibly. He's got the wrong address. You know, monkey mind. And then everything just changed. It's been so obviously life transforming, but it was only about 3-4 years ago that I actually started to tell people that Jesus had come to me, because I was so fearful of being shut down with flames and being criticized. And then when I eventually allowed him to speak through me, I burst out. I was in a group and I burst into tears. As such a relief. And then I could see in that moment how he had tried so often to speak through me, but not even in my conscious awareness, I'd instantly shut him down, instantly, uh, because of my own lack of worth.
Mm.
And it's just absolute joyous now that I will speak to anything and everything. That because I've really come into, I don't look outside of myself now for anything to tell me who I am. I absolutely feel and know who I am. And in that, it's allowed me to have such a seamless communication with these divine beings. And then they bring through frequencies for the various different audiences and who's ready to receive. And the most recent one has been the swan consciousness. That was
Swan, did you say swan consciousness?
the swan
Ah,
consciousness. Yeah. Pure divine grace.
grace.
Pure divine grace. Yeah. So and the angelic realm, they wish to. So Archangel Michael, for a long time, has told me not to call him an archangel and just call him Michael. And now he's saying, please call us luminous light beings, because you can now handle the truth. All of you now can handle the truth that angels are luminous light beings, and that's the truth of who they are. And they're saying they wish for us to be using the words luminous because it's actually the truth of what we are inside of us. If you take away all of our packaging, you'll actually see that we are a walking, talking, living soul, and we are so bright. But the more so I'm continually speaking with them, the more we look outside of ourselves, we are literally dimming us. But as soon as we start to come back in and look at ourselves, we instantly start to bring more of our soul into us and more of our soul's light into us and the more of the gift. They said that when you look outside of yourself, they really wanted me to say this now and stress this, you are looking for and receiving a false light. Yeah. So they're saying something that they want me to say, but I'm not going to say it because I don't want to.
You
I'm not
don't
going
want to?
No, I discern everything.
That
And I'm still my own powerful being. And like Jesus, Yeshua, he's always here. So Michael's always here, and this divine ocean of luminous light beings are here. And Yeshua is like the friend that you want to go to and have a coffee with, go for a walk with. There's no hierarchy. And he's never had any hierarchy at all. Yeah. In fact, the client just before here was saying, "Oh, Master Jesus." And I said, "Oh, he's coming in and he's asking for you, please do not call him a master, because there's absolutely no difference between the two of you."
What a remarkable story. Thank you so much for sharing that. That corroborates so much other experiences that I've heard, and also an experience that I too have had, and it's no hierarchy. Isn't that beautiful? And so
Yeah.
you know this, and luminous luminous beings of light, and that's what we
Yeah.
are. So I just want to say one more time that when we look outside of ourselves, that's the big message. It bears repeating. When we look outside of ourselves, we dim our light. And isn't it our human nature before our awakening, when we are in a crisis, when we have a personal despair, for example, or something going on, we're always like, oh, I need to go to a psychic. I need to go to a therapist. I need someone to help me with this. But as we're able to go within like this in a mastery way, in a masterful way, that really is our light radiating like a light being. So the question comes up, what about trust? What was this like for you in the early days? Because now you're an open doorway. You let this light and information and love frequency flow through you because you know without a shadow of a doubt what it is. But was it always that way? Um, how did you get over the trust factor so that you really knew within? And again, I think this comes down to the feeling, right? It's a definite feeling. Or what was it for you?
Yeah. Well, um, the luminous, I would go to say angelic realm, luminous light beings, um, have always said right from the very beginning is that um, feeling is believing, and you feel to be real. If you were, we are designed for truth, absolutely designed for truth. And when you, this is one of the main things that we do within the one-to-one sessions, is we connect people to their unique key frequency, the absolute key frequency that they've come in. The reason they've come in with that frequency is to be that light, be that resonant, and emanate that, because they so know who they are. It's one of the key things that we get people to do straight off the bat, is connect to the truth, the true divine frequency of who they are. For me, right at the very beginning, and I had such little self-worth, but I knew that I had to leave my job. Michael then came, and it was absolutely, oh, I absolutely know I've got to become an animal behaviorist. But that was a great desire in me. I loved animals so much. What I started off with dogs, moved on to cats, then horses, alpacas, camels, ended up going around the world, parrots, everything. For me, the main thing that happened, and anyone can have access to dogs. Dogs are unconditional love. Dogs are love on legs. And they, when you powerfully love a dog, that dog is showing you how powerful the love is that resides within you, because it's your energy. You couldn't possibly love that dog that way, that much, that unconditionally, if it wasn't in you. And I started to have this, oh my God, I'm feeling such compassion. I'm feeling so much love. I had a very abusive, dominant, wasn't allowed to speak childhood. And I was like, oh my, what's this inside of me? And then and then I'd see a bee, And I'd think, oh my God, I've got the same love for that bee. And then I'd see a fly and I'd go, come on, come on, come on. Let me let you out. Or it's a mosquito. Come on, come on. Because the love that was emanating through me. And it was because the dogs had allowed me to fall in love with them and for me to become aware that one of our greatest gifts is awareness. And the more awareness we allow ourselves to see here, the more we have the greatest awareness of self and self awareness. And I was just like, these dogs are allowing me to see how much and how powerfully and how unconditionally I can love them. And that then moved into cats. Exactly the same. How I feel for a dog is exactly how I feel for a flower, a cat, a horse, a mosquito, a fly, because it's what is actually the true nature of you that's emanating out of you. What they're just saying here is when you look and use technology or another or AI, that's what they were wanting me to say earlier, and I didn't want to. You are coming away from your true nature. And look at that beautiful background that you've got. If you allow yourself to merge and fall in love with nature, you are literally allowing yourself to fall in love with the true nature of you. That's why they say, just leave all the technology there to just get on and do whatever it needs. But for you to find you, be in the true nature of you, and that is nature, that's the animal kingdom, the birds, the oceans, the dolphins, God, the dolphins. And you really then start to awaken and feel the most grand, exceptional, powerful frequency that you are. And then nobody, like I said, nobody outside of me can tell me who I am. And I wouldn't look now. What they're saying here is as we are all expanding, the more you become so aware of you, and it does start with you connecting to the true divine frequency that you are, because how you emanate and how you feel, no one else on this planet has that. And this is the whole reason why you've come in, to find out the truth of who you are and then be it. It's very simple, very powerful. When you have this feeling, you relax. You don't surrender. They don't like that word, surrender. You relax. And it's in that relaxing that you just become more gentle. And this is what the swan consciousness was all about, is the pure divine grace, because that is actually what we are. We are, right at our very core, pure divine grace. And the more you relax, the more gentle you are. And it's in the relaxing the resistance of the pushing and efforting and forcing. Oh, I've got to get this done. And oh, what if I missed that? A client said to me a few months ago, FOMO. And I went, what's FOMO? And she says, oh, fear of missing out. I went, oh, I've never, I don't know that. And I'm like, well, the more you relax, the gentler you become. And it's in that gentleness that you can actually start to feel, and you go, wow. So I see ultraviolet now, whereas never used to be able to see ultraviolet. Color spectrums change. And you are then becoming more and more aware of your multi-dimensional self. And then what they said and what they wanted me to reiterate is they're going to slowly step back and step back. And we won't even know that they're not there anymore. Because they're saying it isn't actually the journey. Because when you know who you are, there isn't any journey, because you're in the energetics of what you want to be and you know who you are. And you might go, oh, it's been about 6 weeks since I've seen you, Yeshua. Should we go for a coffee? Let's go and have a chat. Rather than thinking that we have to call on external influence, in greater beings, shall we say, to give us our answers, because we already know. Nobody outside of me can tell me who I am, because I know.
What a deep connection that shows us all how we get there. And as I'm listening to you and feeling into that, I'm recognizing that that feeling, that frequency, that heart openness is actually the quantum field. We are connected on that multidimensional level. And now we're interfacing it with our energy, using our energy to draw what we desire in. Can you share some words on this? Maybe a message, another message from the beings of the luminous ones, the luminous beings of light.
One of the wonderful sayings that they have is, there is nowhere that you are not. And there is a lot of talk about third dimension, fourth dimension, or we're getting into the fifth dimension. And they say there is nowhere that you are not. And when you limit yourself with a label, with a container, one of the other words that they love is ridiculous. Because when you relax and become gentle, you are giving yourself the gift of awareness, and your awareness goes out. You're not actually drawing anything to you. You are becoming one with what is already here, because there's nowhere that you are not. And it's like going into the ocean and emanating out into the ocean. And then the ocean, it will hear you, and the whales hear you, the dolphins hear you. Every time I communicate with a whale, right from the very first time, years and years ago, it was only a matter of moments that we were actually up in the galaxy. And the whales say, oh, we don't live in the ocean, in that ocean, we live in that ocean. But there's actually no difference between the two oceans. It's just your perception that there's a difference. But there is no difference. Yeah. And they were so glorious. And they said, oh, we'll take you on a journey, and we'd go see a star way off. And you can actually do this, look at a star, and a star can get brighter because you've witnessed it. It's beautiful. It will dance for you as well. What was very fortunate for me is that Michael came and took me to see my 4-year-old self. And I went into my 4-year-old self and could see what she was seeing, and she could see the angels and see Michael and me, and she knew exactly who I was, that I was her future self, and that everything was moving like you're under the ocean. And I knew that there was no such thing as time. But there can't be there can't be time if I could stand there and see my 4-year-old self, and I'm in my early 30s. It's not surrendering. They really don't like the word surrender because it's got a heavy conscious programming around it. People surrender to their enemy, to the war or whatever. It's when you surrender, you're literally giving your power away. That's what they're saying. When you relax, you are always, always, always in control of the energy. So when we first start to take people into here and they say, oh, it's expanding out of me, so very, very gently and gracefully, you bring it back in. Oh, no, but I like it expanding out. And I'm going, yeah, no, but we're showing you how you control the energy. And when you realize that you are actually a very advanced alchemist of energy, You then know when to emanate, how to emanate, what tone, what frequencies. You become very, very masterful. And then you can literally start to create the realities that you're wanting to create. But what the swan consciousness came through as with this pure divine grace was the gentleness, the serenity, the purity, the power, the strength, the nobility, the royalty, how they mate for life, how they care for their families. Every single thing that the swan, that we love to look at swans, is because it's within us. And this is why the consciousness of the swan has come through now so powerfully. It's because we're ready to step into our grace.
Absolutely, we are ready. And so let's talk about things that may hinder someone on the path. Because as we look outside of ourselves or get distracted by the chaos of the world, can you share a message, perhaps from the swan consciousness, of how we apply this wisdom in a world that is seemingly falling apart? And so, how do we navigate this? Can you share that frequency with us? Thank you.
Well, what they say is, I don't know if you know that there's a comet also called Swan. Have you heard that there's a comet going past? It's been going past for a few months, and a
Oh,
friend of
really?
mine drew
Wow.
that. Yeah,
Wow.
and I asked them. I said, "It's called a comet Swan," and they said because it's time to get everybody in the consciousness of Swan. And they said that there's not one single person on this planet that doesn't know what a swan is. And everybody loves swans. Everybody were, oh my God, there's a swan, there's a swan. Their wings are absolutely ginormous. And that's to show us that so are ours. Energetically, when I say swan, when you say swan, we as human beings automatically picture. So if I said flying pink pig, somebody would see we'd see a flying pink pig. But when we say a swan, you see the swan, you feel the strength immediately. And when they've been working with clients, they've asked the clients to bring their shoulders up back and put your arms out like that. It literally lights up this area. And they're calling it the swan pose. And you go like this, and it lights up and it starts to bring energy into this area. And it absolutely, we all have nobility. We all have a regalness about us. If we wish to tap into it, it's got nothing to do with royal families or anything like that. It's just us truly valuing ourselves at our very core. And when we think of the swan, it's its pose, it's its strength, it is its grace, it is how pure white it is. All of the qualities, anybody, if they allow themselves, do this pose, do this swan pose, and you're starting to get energy cultivated in this area, and then feel into the qualities that resonate with you with the swan, and allow yourself to feel those qualities. God, they're so strong. For you to be able to feel the strength or know the strength of a swan, you feel it in you first. The purity, you start to feel that within you. All of the qualities of the swan you can literally start to embody in yourself. You can live in a city. Just you can look on your laptop for a picture on your mobile phone, but you can start to really allow yourself to just feel what it would feel like, just to embody the strength. Give yourself one day of allowing yourself to feel that strength, that value, and that truth. What it's doing is it's bringing you into your authenticity. It's bringing you into your alignment to yourself. Because when we're coming from our head, which is programmed for fear, because we're programmed that if anything changes, we are to fear it. When we allow ourselves to actually come in and feel ourselves, we feel peace. We come into peace because we've come into the truth of us. We've come into an alignment. We're like, oh my gosh, this feels so good. Yeah. And actually, it's really easy and effortless. And all this other chaos, craziness, whatever, is to keep us out of looking in. But the more you allow yourself to look in and feel, a whole new paradigm opens up. And for myself, I mean, I hear people say that Europe is in chaos, and I don't see it. I don't feel it. It's just not. It's not what I'm focusing on. I guess it's not. It's. I. I find everything's really quite exciting. I'm in a very excited, energetic, and yeah, looking forward to more and more of us all coming into our authentic nature.
Yes, and you are doing a magnificent job of bringing forward the frequencies. Again, you have dedicated your life to this, and it really is beautiful and magical. So I want to just say the swan pose, that is a beautiful tool. And I want to thank you for that, because if all we do is leave this conversation with that tool, this is so rich with so much to come out of this conversation with. But if just that tool alone, and we do that, like you said, like I feel so powerful with just that swan pose that you illustrated for us. And a picture comes to mind when, swans, they do mate for life, like macaws, they mate for life as well. And so together, two swans that come together and they put their noses together make a heart. And that has always thrilled me. And so look at that beauty right there, that there's a lot in that. And it's not saying that we're giving a part of ourself away or that we need another to complete us, but that just shows the beauty of working in partnership.
Yeah.
So would you
And
want
it's unity consciousness as well.
unit? Thank you for that. Unity consciousness. So this is not only between you and your partner, but you within yourself, right? Unity consciousness within ourself. Maybe you can share about how information that you have about blending this masculine and feminine energy within us so that we can become united within ourselves. Because we think unity consciousness, the world needs unity consciousness, but do you think it really begins within us first, or within us is part of it? It's a big part of it. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, it's totally for myself. Like I said, I was in such a low state, lack of worth. I didn't know who I was. I didn't even know what my opinions were. I couldn't make an opinion because I didn't know what I was, who I was. I didn't even know that I didn't know love. I didn't know love until the dogs showed me. I was like, oh, what? Suddenly I've got this amazing compassion for everything. And it was so visceral because it was so, night and day. I didn't know I didn't have it. And then suddenly I had it. I was like, crikey, crikey. When you allow yourself the gift of, so that awareness for me then allowed me to become aware of more things. So the more you become aware of, the more they give you and your soul give you to become aware of. But if you're not acknowledging it, so I always saying to the group I have and clients is look how far where you were a year ago and really recognize where you are now. Have the awareness of where you are now, because the more awareness you have, the more awareness you're going to have. And the more awareness you're going to have is giving you more awareness of self. And it's more self awareness. And the more self awareness you have, the more you relax, but the more you feel whole. And that's the unity. There is no part of you that feels false. You start to really have inner worth, inner value, and you do start to feel unified. There's not one part of me that's not connected to the other part of me. There's not an energetic. I used to be very masculine and fought and, fighting and efforting. And oh my God, humans coming towards me. How am I going to cope with this? It's such a regal it's like pose, but poised. You have this just because you feel elevated, and it's not. They don't, like I said, they don't talk in dimensions, and they don't really talk in frequencies, but they do talk in oscillations, in the vibrational oscillation that you are. And as you relax, you're actually allowing yourself to be flooded more with your light. And so your oscillation goes faster, you're becoming brighter. And in that, you are literally able to blend and it's kind of seep into areas that you didn't know that they were there. And this is you becoming aware of your multidimensionality. And so you go, oh, it's like being under the ocean and then suddenly you're coming across a coral reef. And it's like, oh my God, there's that. And I didn't know that was over there. And oh, look at that. And you're just allowing yourself. They do say, and they're stressing again here, the gift of awareness is your gift because it gives you self-awareness. And then you emanate this confidence, this love, this value, empowerment. And other people, so Yeshua, he's just saying here, he said, this is exactly what I did. I just knew who I was. I mean, he did a lot of work to get there. He said, I knew who I was. I emanated who I was. And then people would reach out to touch me because they wanted some of that too, really. And in their belief was so strong about who he was that they would self-heal themselves because they literally transformed from one oscillation up into another oscillation, into the belief of who they are, which was whole and complete. He says, I never healed anybody. I just knew who I was. He said, that's why I told you, you are exactly the same as me. You all are.
Yes. Wow. All right. I love that. That is so beautiful. And we can feel that vibration. It is so empowering. Wow. Okay. Fiona, I want you, if you may, to send us on a short little journey here, or bring us into a frequency that we can connect with our sacred heart and really
Mhm.
feel that. I would love
Yeah,
that. Thank you.
yeah. Okay. So there's a few different ways that they do it, and I did ask them before coming on which way would they want to do it today, and they've been feeling into the audience and yourself, and they're wanting to do it by this. You, if we'll do it this way. So if you just gently close your eyes and become very relaxed, very present, and know that the luminous light beings and Yeshua are surrounding you. And as we talk, we will take you up into frequencies where you're very held and nurtured and nourished. And just taking a few beautiful, gentle, deep breaths, becoming very aware of the presence and the present of this gift that you are in this world and in this moment. Now take your awareness to your chest, to this sacred area on your body, and just very gently with your awareness here, and everything is done so very, very gently, just breathing into this area. And as you're breathing into this area, you're generating energy into this area, and we are holding you and bringing more and more light surrounding you. Just breathing into this area. Now, right at your very core, right behind the center of your chest there, in front of your spine, there's a little beautiful golden light, and it's flickering and it's trying to get your attention. It's going, I'm here, I'm here. And it's asking for you to just take notice of this golden light. It's very warm, very beautiful. And as you breathe into it, make it bigger, make it stronger, make it brighter, and move it forward so it starts to fill your chest. And you can feel the heat and the warmth as it's caressing you from the inside. Just breathing that. And Lauren, how does that feel for you?
I feel that so expansive, and I have a huge smile on my heart. Thank you.
Okay, now what they're asking you is, what's your favorite color?
Blue.
Right. You're a very advanced alchemist, and we're sure that you already know that. But in an instant, the click of the finger, make that gold your favorite color blue instantly.
Wow. Okay.
And really feel the energy and the frequency of that. Make it stronger. Really become familiar with this, how this feels for you. Now, this area here is your truth center, but it is also the connection to your soul. And your soul just told you that your favorite color is blue because you are your soul. And this is you now in direct communication with your soul. And your soul loves you so deeply. So deeply. And is so happy that you are now in communication with each other. Now, do you feel calm, peaceful, or do you feel anxious or worried?
No, I'm crying because my heart is wide open, and that's what happens when my heart opens in this way and that connection is there. So thank you. I have spoken about being a Blu-ray, coming in on the Blu-ray, but now I feel it like I've never felt it before. Wow. Thank you.
This,
Thank
this
you.
is your pure, true, unique frequency. Become so familiar with this because this is the truth of why you incarnated. This is you in direct communication with your soul. The more you gently and profoundly connect here and emanate this, what we do is we take people through and emanate it through their whole bodies so that you end up feeling it in every cell of your body. It becomes so familiar that you actually end up being walking, talking, living soul. And you know the profound, unique frequency of you. Nobody else has this frequency. This is why you agreed to come in. You agreed to come in, know this connection to yourself, have this profound emanation and knowing how powerful it is to embody it and then allow it to emanate out of you to be a gift wherever you go. This is the truth of who you are. That's why it's so powerful.
Thank you. And so this experience for me was my personal color, my favorite color. But for those who are tuning in, whatever color they love, then that is indicative of their soul color. And that's their ray, I would say. So we're all the rays. And I don't want to label and limit, but this makes so much sense now because it
So
is
I had a
one.
lady yesterday and she was pink, yellow, and green, and they were all dancing together. This lady used to be a nun and she was laughing with joy. You're
Wow.
such a creator being. And oh, it was so joyous. Yeah.
That's wonderful. I have a very dear friend who was a nun for 20 years, no, 14 years. She calls it a cult.
Oh,
And now she's free of that and so joyous as well. And she does understand this power within us. All right. Wow. Thank you for that beautiful connection. That is profound. I have to say, I've never really experienced the depth of that like we just did today. And you have given us a couple of really good tools in this conversation. So for that, Fiona, we are so grateful. We can feel this frequency, and there's no problem in the world when we feel this frequency. There's no problem. I just want to reiterate that. So for all who feel heavy at this time, for all who feel wary of which way the world is going, how it's going, if we shift our focus instead to this, it's not a cop out. The world will have its problems, but this radiance that you helped us emanate, connect to, and emanate today, that is very powerful for our world because it will influence others. And others, just like the light of Jesus. Others wanted to touch that light. I see how we will be able to, I don't want to use the word influence, like it's going to manipulate people, but this radiance will shine brighter light for others to want to shine their light. So that is really powerful. All right, cool. Well, I am elated. Again, I am going to continue the rest of this day holding this frequency, emanating this light, and I'm going to witness over the next week what the swan pose does. And I encourage everyone watching to do that as well. And I also want to say, I know there's going to be some who are like, oh, Fiona, I want to work with you. I got to talk with you. I want time with you. I want to be more of this. I want more connection with this. And so we have a very special opportunity for those who are interested in working with you to take a personal one-on-one session. And I know if we did this in an hour today and in just a few minutes connected in this light, in this way on a group level, what that must be like in a personal private session. Can you tell us what your personal sessions are like? Thank you.
Well, they're very unique, obviously, and very profound, and it's not unusual for people to have tears. And that process, there's various different ways that they take people into that, but we also then teach you how to cleanse your whole body with your unique frequency so that you are coming from the purity of you, how you cleanse and purify your vocal cords, every hair, strand of hair on your head, every organ. We teach you how to move the energy, how learn how to become um, an energy alchemist, really, because everybody already really knows energy, even if they don't think they do. And by connecting you to your unique frequency, it's from here. And when you cultivate this, become so familiar with this, it's from here that you ask your question: what would be my greatest joy? What would I wish to do now? Because you're communicating directly with your soul, and your soul holds all of the wisdom. You are a walking, talking soul. You are. If you take away all of this skeleton and muscle and everything, inside is a glowing white light. And I was shown it about 8 years ago. That's a whole nother story. I was shown the whole of me being brilliant, brilliant white light. We take people into total empowerment. That's what we're doing, so that they can be coming from their authentic self.
And that is an energy alchemy, chiropractic, energetic adjustment, I want to say. And that is so precious. And the link for this is on the page that got you to this program. Or if you're watching us on YouTube, it's in the description box. This is such a beautiful opportunity to really anchor into our soul's light and to emanate it. What a beautiful opportunity, Fiona. Thank you so much for this. I know people are going to find it very supportive at this time, really supportive moving into a new year, how we are feeling a new call to show up in a new way. This is it. This is how we show up with our light, with our energy. And
Mhm.
I'm so grateful. Thank you for that. So there's also
Thank you.
another opportunity for people to work with you. You're doing an online gathering. Tell us about that.
Yes, it was Yeshua who said you need to create an online gathering to support people who have this connection with themselves for the first time. Where do they go? What do they do? What do I do now? So there's a really, really beautiful gathering of such heart-centered people, very similar, all just starting to, oh my God. And every Monday, And it was Yeshua who said, call it a gathering, don't call it a community, because that kind of puts a ring fence around it. They're becoming very, very particular about energetics. So call it a gathering, because where Yeshua said, wherever he went, people gathered. And every Monday you can ask us questions, and different frequencies will come in. Some very powerful beings came in last Monday, which is a new frequency. Bring your tissues, because there's it is. And it's like coming home. It's beautiful.
So
And
supportive.
so the offer is part of, I think it was 2 months free, because it's a subscription, so it's 2 months free to join that, to taste it, see how you feel about it. And come on. Very supportive, very, very loving.
Awesome. That is available with the purchase of the special offer with a personal session. And I hope you'll find it very, very supportive on your journey. It's an incredible offering to work with Fiona Paul and the luminous beings of light. And you will recognize yourself as a luminous being of light and your team of beings of light who are luminous as well. Fiona, I am so elated, and I just want to say thank you again. This frequency is so nurturing and rejuvenating that I hope everyone is feeling this. And I thank you for this frequency shift, because we have shifted and the world has shifted right alongside of us. We know that
Indeed.
that's true. Feel it, feel it, feel it. Okay, cool.
Yeah, beautiful.
So I want to just give you a final moment for any last comments as we wrap up our show.
Give yourself the gift of awareness. Become aware of who you were even a month ago, or 6 months ago, a year ago. Give yourself that awareness. Celebrate yourself for who you are. Celebrate that you're wanting to find the truth of who you are, because your soul is calling you, because that is the whole reason why you came in, is for you to find the truth of who you are. Very simple. And then just emanate and be the most powerful, magnificent, loving human being that you are.
Wow, thank you so much. That's such a beautiful message. And it comes at the perfect time on our planet. Thank you, thank you, thank you to Fiona, to Michael, Jesus, and all of the ones who are surrounding you and us. We are forever grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Namaste.
Thank you. Namaste. Thank you.
This has been a presentation of New Earth One Network, your home for New Earth living. Access information, education, and videos on living from the heart in unity consciousness. Visit newearth1.com.